בסימנת טובה, סקל המצוות, חזקים וברוכים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט, קופלים גם יחד. And that's the big zechut that we are here tonight to discuss and to start our first series of our Shalom Bayit workshop, which Bezat Shem is going to be based on 5 keys of communication in marriage. And interesting enough, we have to realize that our Shalom Bayit is affecting our blessing in life, our Shalom Bayit affecting our health in life. Our Shalom Bayit is so important that affecting our relationship even with Hashem. And our Shalom Bayit are so effective that they're gonna create a good relationship with our own children. So therefore, Shalom Bayit is so important that unfortunately you want to enjoy your Shalom Bayit, your life, you need to have Shalom Bayit at home. Someone who doesn't have Shalom Bayit at home, unfortunately, which sometimes it happened to us, temporary or whatever, are outside activities, outside the home. Also, so Shalom Bayit at home, as we said, it's so important that it's going to affect our health, our parnasa, our blessing in life, even our end of life, our aging. Those couples who, Baruch Hashem, they have Shalom Bayit, they even don't realize they're getting old. Aging is not a problem for them. Why? Because they establish it correctly. So tonight, yes, it's going to be a lot of back and forth question and answer, but we have to know, I'm not here tonight for my own Shalom Bayit. So why I'm here tonight? I'm here for my children's Shalom Bayit. Why? Because my Shalom Bayit has effect in my children's Shalom Bayit. That we have to know. And that's why it's so important that sometimes we give up, or we can't continue, or we can't take it anymore. We have to think twice. Why? Because it's not that I'm deciding for my marriage with my Shalom Bayit, I'm deciding also for my children's marriage. Because I become the role model. Shalom Bayit has to do a lot with logic and patience. Once there is no common sense or logic or patience, unfortunately, in Shalom Bayit, I become a wrong role model for my children, for next generation, that you don't have to wait, you don't have to be patient, you don't have to look for solution, you don't have to, all you could do, just give up. So Bezat Shem, we're going to start with one idea of this week's parasha that Moshe Rabbeinu is told, summoned by Hashem, that go to Paro and talk to him to let my people go. to free my people. Among other excuses that Moshe Rabbeinu brings, he also gives one major excuse. And what is it? I don't know how to talk, Hashem. I have lips. I don't know how to talk. The question. If Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to Hashem, he has a problem that he cannot talk to human beings. He cannot talk to Paro. You're talking to Hashem. You say, I cannot talk clearly, smoothly to Paro, to people. I have lips. Achamim, they explain, yes. This is the whole idea. You might be a best salesman in your business. You might be a best teacher in college. When it comes to others, in other words, like Kivyachol, when it comes to Hashem, you talk so nice. But when it comes to your spouse, you cannot communicate. And this, what Moshe Rabbeinu says, is not enough that I could communicate with Hashem. I need to learn how to communicate with people as well. So therefore, Shalom Bayit has many kind of bases that if one is missing, Shalom Bayit is not Shalom anymore. And once there is no Shalom, there is no Bayit. One and foremost, Hachamim, they say, communication. Both could be from same country, both could be from same city, both could be from same family even. But if they don't know how to communicate, how to express their feeling, we have an issue. So in other words, communication is not about how to talk. Communication is about how you express your feeling. How you want to tell your husband that really bothered me. Or how you want to tell your wife, please don't try to do this again. How you express your feeling. As you know, ladies and men, they have two different kind of emotional language. Most of the time, Hachamim or people say, doctors say, men first reaction is silent. They don't say anything. They get quiet, silent. But ladies or women, their first reaction about their emotional language is, I don't want to say scream, but they overwhelm and they start talking either loud or, and this is what really made Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu realized by just not talking or having an issue in communication, not expressing my feeling to Paro, to Bnei Israel, I cannot do my job. I could be a best husband, but if I cannot communicate, show or express my emotion correctly, I cannot get any response or any communication back. And as far as the mom as well. So sometimes we as a parent try to beg our children, please have this, please wear this, please do this. And we try to show our emotion or to express our feeling that we love you, we sing it for your own best and this and that. But this type of parenting emotion is not necessarily working in Shalom Bayit emotion. Shalom Bayit, husband and wife, marriage language or emotional language is different than, so therefore, lawyers, they talk differently to their client. Doctors, they talk differently to their problem. Lawyers, they address the issue differently, the outcome, the consequence, what's going to happen. But doctors, they say differently. Usually, lawyers, attorneys, when they want to say something about the outcome and the consequence, most of the time has to do with financial, with others' right, or this and that. But when doctor comes and talk to the person because of his problem, his sickness, is dealing with his body, dealing with his goof. And that's why it's more personal. That's why doctor has to have used different terminology, different explanation to tell the patient, listen, you have this sickness, and unfortunately it might be this, and unfortunately it might be that. But the lawyer or attorney is going to explain differently. If I'm a good parent, that should not satisfy me, that's enough. Okay, we cannot talk emotionally. We cannot communicate emotionally as a husband and wife. But I'm a good parent. I'm a good husband. I'm a good father. I'm a good mom. And sometimes, they say, couples or parents, they bribe themselves that, you know what, as long as you do whatever your children need, that's good enough. You don't have to sacrifice more than that for your marriage. As long as you sacrifice enough in parenting, that's good. What else? What else is expected at home in marriage? To be a good parents. Wrong. Before we commit to be a good parents, we committed to be a good husband and wife. And I had a lecture about this, that either fortunately or unfortunately, children are one of the main distractions in Shalom Bayit. Because as long as I put enough time for my children, so what, I don't have any more time for my spouse, that's good enough. I go to work enough for my children, for their future, to pay their tuition, to pay their expenses. Okay, I don't have time for my spouse, for my husband, for my wife, but I'm a good father, I'm a good mother. That's already an issue, because this job, nothing has to do with the other job. Let's say a teacher who teaches in same college or same school, two different curriculum. Let's say science and math. If he's a good math teacher, that doesn't mean he shouldn't be a good science teacher either. And that's why we mix up these two things together, that parenting comes first before marriage. And that's a problem. That's why I don't sacrifice enough for my Shalom Bayit. Because I said, so what? My children, they're gonna love me. But you need your husband or wife love also. No, my children, this, he never or she never brings them to park or to shopping or this and that to school. I always do. Okay, you are a good mom and you're a good dad. But as far as a husband and wife is totally different responsibility, totally different job. And that's what really make us more dependent on our children and not on each other. And I have a news for you. Children, they would appreciate these sacrifices only up to certain age. After certain age, they look at it as a fuzuli. You're getting involved into their life. That, you know what, come, I give you ride. I don't want ride. I want to go with my friends. No, I'm going to make lunch for you. I don't want a lunch. I'll be going out with my friend. We try to enforce our involvement and our love, unwanted love, to them in order to keep them in our team, because otherwise I'm going to be alone. They may appreciate again up to certain age, but after certain age, they don't. There's a reason. Mom, we are not your husband. Dad, we are not your wife. You guys have to get along together. Why you trying to be involved in our life, especially teenage life, especially singles life? That's why Shalom Bayit is important. Our children are guests. Our children are our passenger. At the end of the day, they get off the bus at certain station, and we have to continue alone. And we cannot call them every time. So how was your day? Who was there last night? What did you eat? Where did you go? We cannot. Because we cannot communicate with our own spouse. We don't have any source of communication to express our emotions. So we use them as a kind of another entity to get information or to express our emotions. So let's come back here again. These Shalom Bayit classes, especially when it deals with the communication, is so important and so essential. Have you ever been in a traffic and you try to make a quick shortcut, and at the end you find out that what? You put yourself more in traffic, totally in stuck and different direction. Have you ever had? Sometimes we use these shortcuts in marriage. We see we are in traffic. Doesn't go. We have to wait. We got stuck. We try to make a shortcut. And we create more traffic. Our reaction, we try to use shortcut and we show a wrong reaction. And that wrong reaction adds to our traffic, adds to our problem. But still, we know, listen, I have to get where I have to get. I have to go to work. I have to get to party. I have to get there, even though it's traffic. What can I say? Once I know that I have to get in my goal in marriage, then I said, you know what? Maybe it was better if I would have waited in the first traffic. Maybe if I would have been a little bit more patient. Maybe I had less Shalom Bayit problem. So again, communication is so important that Hamim, they say, if it was a good communication between Adam and Hawa, when the Nahash came to convince Hawa, don't worry, you could have it. Nothing's going to happen. And you know why Hashem asks you not to eat? He doesn't want you to be wise enough like him. Who wants competition? Same thing, God doesn't want a competition. That's why he asks you. He has a personal reason, not because of your own benefit. Apparently, I'm sorry to say, Hawa had a better communication with Nahash than her own husband. That's what happened when you go to buy furniture, huh, Morris? Or to buy TV, to buy a jacket. The salesman knows how to get into the couple's mind. He says which one is more interested. He continues the communication with the one that shows a little bit interest. If he or she be a wise husband and wife, would say, you know what? Thank you. We have to decide ourselves. We have to decide ourselves. And the salesman, no, okay, yeah, of course, you could think about it. I was just saying some idea, information. Okay, thank you. When it comes to decision making, if we decide together, no one would take advantage of our distance, of our different opinion. So if Hawa, after the lecture of Nahash, would have come to Adam and said, you know what, I want to talk to you. What do you think if we have that, it's a dad? Yeah, I know God said it, but you know, at the end of the day, me and you alone here, this, that is not fair. We have everything but this one. Let's have it. If they were deciding together, I'm sure at the end of the day, they would have not bought it. But since Hawa already was convinced, don't tell me no. I know what is the best. The Nachash told me, the wisest salesman in the world. He already told me. I already read, I Googled it, I this, I that, I researched it. I know. She tried to force Adam. And Adam said, okay, let's have it. Let me go buy it. She didn't give a chance to Adam to communicate, to say, what do you think? Usually in our Khatan and Kalat classes, I tell all the Khatanim, there are few magic words that you could use and save a lot in life, especially in marriage. When there is a pressure that we have to buy something, do something, decide something, there is a magic word. Let's ask. Don't argue. Don't object. Don't reject. Nothing. Say, actually, that's a good idea. Let's ask. Once you bring the idea of consultation, let's ask. Let's ask someone. Once we use that magic word, that let's ask, we are in the same team. Let's do some research. Let's find out more. Let's ask. They're going to have it better. But if I try to say, but, did you check the weather? It's going to be windy. No, don't worry, windy. Now, no, it's windy. When I want to go to that park, it's windy. When you want to go, it's not windy. All argument, because it becomes personal, one against one. and you lose the point of communication. There is no room over here to decide. And most of the time, you said, you know what? Okay, no problem. Let's go to park. Yes. We force ourselves unwillingly. Why? Because we don't want argument. But that's not communication. Communication means you discuss, you bring your own points, you try to hear the other opinion as well. That's called communication. Communication, again, not necessarily talking. Communication, emotion, how do you express your emotion, your reaction, and at the end, the conclusion that you have. Unfortunately, once there is no communication, there is no conclusion. And always everything stays on maybe, okay, we think about it, I don't know for now. There is no certain conclusion at the end. And that really bothers both sides. Whenever I want to do something, he doesn't want it. Whenever I want to do something, she doesn't want to do it. So there is always conflict. And we kind of shift that conflict into other aspects of life. Oh, you know, tomorrow we have to go to my mom's house. No, I don't think I could make it. I have an appointment. Why? Which appointment? I told you from last week. Yeah, but they called, you know, I want to go there, double check, you know, I haven't been there. I don't know what those why those excuses? Because of the miscommunication we had yesterday. That dilemma left scar. That, you know what, we don't understand each other. So why should I come and spend time with you if we cannot communicate? I want to avoid any argument. I want to avoid any stress. And if we had a good conclusion, if we had a good communication yesterday, that feeling, that cooperation, that understanding would have been shifted the next day. Sure, of course. Yeah, actually, I was looking forward to you at your mom's house. Why not? Because we see some benefit with our company, with our communication. So therefore, Chachamim, they say, whenever it comes to any decision making, don't hide your emotion. Communicate. Because if you hide your emotion in this communication and you get up unsatisfied, that you think that someone is doing something wrong here and you cannot stop it, you cannot do something about it, and you cannot even comment or anything. If you are not happy with that decision, you won't be happy with any other decision of him or of her, because that becomes for you like a status. She always do that. He always does that. So that makes it more distance from each other, because there is no kind of understanding each other and communicating together. So based on this introduction, our presentation, we said not going to be more than 45 minutes. So we have 15 minutes. Based on this introduction, we're going to have 3 questions here, and let's see everyone how could participate. First question. Based on experience, each one had based on different experience, and sometimes we hear this experience from others, sometimes we witness this experience. Based on your experience, not necessarily personal experience, but based on your experience, what does it take to break the Shalom Bayit? A pin, a needle, or a stone? What does it take to break the Shalom Bayit? Needle, pin, needle, or stone?
Depends.
Very good. If the Shalom Bayit is strong, pin, needle, or the stone, yes. But if the Shalom Bayit is fragile, every little pin, every little things may cause explosion or may break the Shalom Bayit. We just made peace yesterday. Today again, we have an issue. It's not the issue. It's not because of the issue. It's because this Shalom Bayit is so fragile that every little thing shakes it up. But if the Shalom Bayit is strong enough, little things, but big things, stone, yes. And based on what we explained, what makes the Shalom Bayit strong? Communication. Right communication. Which Chachamim, they say, if you cannot talk at home, no problem, go walk and talk. If you cannot communicate now, make time tomorrow to talk, to communicate. But you have to believe that your best solution, best oxygen for your Shalom Bayit is communication. So you don't want to avoid it. You don't want to delay it. You don't want to deny it. Communication. So that's our first question. Second question. Again, not necessarily based on personal experience, but what you have heard or you have seen. What is the age or best age of Shalom Bayit? Beginning of the marriage, in the middle of the marriage, beginning of the life of marriage, or in the middle age, or towards in the older age. What is the best time of Shalom Bayit? Beginning of the marriage, or in the middle of the?
Definitely not beginning of the marriage.
Is not the best time for Shalom Bayit?
No, the little pin can affect it.
No, all the time.
I know all the time is good to have Shalom Bayit, but what's the most? No, let me rephrase it. What's the most necessary time that we need Shalom Bayit? Beginning of the marriage, towards the end of aging, and
If you have it in the beginning.
Beginning are the most challenging time for Shalom Bayit. Beginning is the most challenging time for Shalom Bayit.
in other words, is most necessary.
Yes. Otherwise, there's not going to be an end. It's going to be the end.
Beginning is the end.
Actually, I have a news for you. I have a news. If you remember, I said in the beginning of my speech that Shalom Bayit affects everything in life, financially, health-wise, and also age-wise.
So the end is.
Ending is more important. But if we don't train ourselves from the beginning how to build communication, we cannot handle at the end. I'm sure you have seen couples above 80, 85, 90, like still beginning of the marriage, how much love, how much caring, how much they cannot be alone with the other one. It did not wait until now that they got old, they are showing together. No, it started from the beginning and it got built up until here that they needed, they could take a full advantage of it. And sometimes with one passing, the next one passes next day, next week, next month, so fast. They were so dependent on each other, like two birds, like two souls in one body. So really, the most necessary time that we need Shalom Bayit is at old age. But if you don't practice from the beginning, you don't know how to keep it. As you know, people go to work, nighttime, daytime. Why? To have pension. What do you need the pension for? At my old age, which I'm not working, I could have some saving to pay my bills. Same thing. When I'm working now, I'm making money. When in the beginning of the marriage, okay, little bit, but towards the end, I need this shalom. I need this peace. Why? Because if no shalom at the end, every day is gonna affect like 5 days. It's gonna make couples older faster because there is no love at the end. And I don't want to say, unfortunately, I don't want to say that. But, you know, the culture that we grew up in Iran, I don't want to say unfortunately, and I don't want to judge anybody, but since the whole idea of marriage was اینم زنش بدیم بره اینم شوهر کنیم بره, for him just to get married, for her just to get married, whatever, however, since it really was not, I don't want to say was not, but sometimes the goal of marriage was not to become one, as the Torah says, "Lo tov hayod adam levado." Since that was not it, so they kind of had no other choice to live together, to just build. The Farsi میگن بسوز و بساز. They had no other choice just to live together, to raise children, to have some parnasa, to be worried to marry off their children, and then again, they didn't have their own personal reason for marriage. اینکه بدون بچه از دنیا نره, بدون ازدواج از دنیا نره. Not to live the world without children, not to live the world without marriage. And we don't know, if you open a company, you need to know how to manage it. You open a company to make profit, not just to have customers. Many companies from morning till night have customers, but they're losing, they're not making money. Oh, but a lot of customers. Correct. But they were losing. They were working for the customer. Customer made more money than them. Same thing. If husband and wife, they don't understand each other, they don't communicate with each other, they don't build their own future together, when they need their love that they need, only they are happy that we're raising children, we are marrying them off, or I'm going to work, I'll become a doctor, I'll become a lawyer, I'll become a nurse, and this, that. As long as we are happy, we have a job, not necessarily marriage, I become a millionaire, I become this, I become famous, I wrote a book. Okay, but how about your marriage life? So second question, when is the most important or necessary time that we need really Shalom Bayit is towards our old age. But you cannot just get it right then. We need to practice from now until then. And that's why it says, when Hashem came to give the Besorot Tovot, good news to Sarah and Abraham, that you're going to have a children at what age? Age of 99 and 89. Sarah, Sahaka Sarah Bekirba. She laughed. Really? I'm going to have a children? Aharib Beloti Hayatali Edna, Adonis Zakir. And she made so many calculations. Hashem come and tell Abraham, Lama Sahaka Sarah. Why Sarah had to laugh? Why she didn't believe? And she said, I am old, means she is old. How do they say? Abraham didn't hear it. So Hashem, shh, don't say anything. Why are you coming to tell Abraham that Sarah laughed? Kedei lehabeba lefanav. But for to make Sarah more lovely in front of Abraham. How? That she was blaming herself. At the age of 89 and 99, Hashem had to bring Shalom Bayit between Sarah and Abraham. So we see how necessary is needed towards our old age. We need that Shalom, but we need to practice it to build it from now. And the third question, last but not least. So what was the first question? Exactly. The more we communicate, the more strength our Shalom Bayit, the less kind of fragile. Second, the most necessary time to have Shalom Bayit, we said, is when? Old age, but we need to practice from beginning. And the third question, which is last but not least, do you think what makes the Shalom Bayit more peaceful? Cry or laugh? Crying together or laughing together? Which one makes it more stronger? Crying together or laughing together?
Obviously, obvious.
Is obvious laughing, correct? Very good.
So he's gonna say crying.
Men gonna say crying, ladies gonna say laughing. No, but if they're laughing, okay, no, I'm saying negative, positive. Cry or laugh. Laughing is easy. How about crying? Crying is easier.
Women, it's easy to
Crying shows more of your emotions. So that the other party sees that, you know what?
Very good. You touched actually something important. Cry, you said you show more emotions.
Yes.
Correct. How about laugh?
So men have to cry and women have to laugh.
If they laugh, no, all of you were right. All of you were right. If laughing makes your Shalom Bayit stronger, more pleasant, why when we see each other, the first thing that we have to say, what bothers us? If really laughing makes our Shalom Bayit more pleasant, when we see each other, first thing we have to say is, what makes us happy? Baruch Hashem, you know, I got accepted. Baruch Hashem, you know this. First, discuss things which make you happy, because that's how you create or generate happy and laugh on the other person as well. But once we complain, kids did that, my car that, the guy called this, once we share something for both to cry or to get upset, what do you expect? There is no more good feeling left to share. It's like we're giving poison to the plant. The plant does not gonna grow. And we say, why we are Shalom Bayit every time you come at home or at night or whenever we go somewhere. Why? Because we don't let a positive energy to be among us. We give more chances to negative energy to be among us. And that makes the person, again, they called again this, your car, and the whole negative impression and sometimes comment is all your fault. I told you how many times. Oh, I'm telling you, he did it. You blaming me. The whole argument starts. Why? We started out with a negative impression, negative energy. So there is a solution for it. Before you come home, you give a home call. Before you come home, you give her a call, you give him a call. Hi, how are you? How's everything? When are you gonna be home? This, that, okay, just I want to let you, this happened, that happened. If you have any complaint, say it while he or she has not come home yet. But when he or she comes home, hi, how are you? How was your day? Or this or that. Try in a positive mode, because that positive mode is gonna bring another positive mode. Me too, today, this, laughing or whatever, at least peaceful atmosphere is gonna be. Not a headache, not again, I know something wrong with you. And I have a kind of a suggestion to both husband and wives. Never ever try to make your husband or husband or wife your friend and at the same time someone else enemy. Don't try to change their perspective that he or she was wrong, I was right. Because by making him to hate someone, that hatred is gonna stay with him even towards you. But by you making him or she love someone, say something good about somebody, not Lashon Hara, something good about somebody, that good impression is going to come towards you as well. Which Chachamim, they say, Lashon Hara is even about your children, not necessarily a stranger in the street. When the mom says Lashon Hara about their children to the husband, to the dad says to the mom, that Lashon Hara creates negative energy between now them. Yes, they started up with their kids, but it stays between them.
What do you mean about Lashon Hara about your kids? Can you be a little more specific?
Yes, according to halacha, if your son or daughter, if your child does something wrong, you don't have to right away report it to your husband or wife.
So it's okay not to report it.
Of course, as long as you are handling it yourself. As long as.
But what if he finds out and then he says, "Why didn't you tell me?" Then it creates.
Again, as long as you are handling it yourself.
I understand.
You talking to him, talking to her. I don't think that was
right. He
right.
doesn't like the way you handle it. He thinks it's a different way of handling it.
Communication. Again, communication. Once there is a communication, always there is a solution, there's a conclusion. Always communication. You think it was not right or whatever, what do you suggest? But I've tried that. We spoke that, but this one has this issue. This is the different reason. Once there is a communication.
Sorry, you're not answering my question.
Yes.
So you said that it's Lashon Hara sometimes when something is wrong and you don't want to tell your husband about it.
Correct.
And
Unless
and
you cannot do something about it
no, I understand. But
and
I
you
need
need
something.
help, say, listen, I think there is something important I need to discuss with you. They called from school, they called from this, I noticed or something. If there is something that you cannot handle yourself, as a help, but not just as a complaint, as a help.
So don't complain if you cannot. handle
Exactly.
it, you
All
go.
I'm trying to say. So the third question was, what really makes your Shalom Bayit pleasant? Cry. Oh, laugh. Laugh. Because that laugh is gonna stay or brings more positive energy between you, both of you. But cry means complaining and this and that. That's why it is highly recommended husband not talk about his business at home. Highly recommended.
Who can we talk to?
Because the same way that you lock your office door and you come home, same thing, you have to close the business news or file and then come home. Again, marriage is more important than all of it. Unless is so important and is so dangerous and he cannot do it alone and he really needs suggestion or consultation. But just saying what happened during the day, this customer or this company or this neighbor or this and that, we are ruining the important time that we have for each other because of others. And how much more so not to talk about any family or close family issue among ourselves. That's Hachamim, they say, listen, your sister has a problem with her husband. Your brother has a problem with her wife. You don't discuss it in your own marriage.
So how can you help them?
If they need your help, you help. But you don't have to say, again, they had fight today.
you mean
Again, they
complain
called this and that.
Don't just discuss it.
No,
but to
don't
discuss
complain
it.
about it. Okay, got it.
You don't want to change the atmosphere, the mood of your marriage is only because of you, both of you. I'm sure when you go to a concert and there is a nice violinist or musician or singer, you don't say, by the way, I'm paying attention to this music. We paid $500 a ticket to enjoy the whatever scenery. Same thing. I came home to enjoy my family. You, me, our Shalom Bayit, our marriage. It's not about all worrying about others, discussing about others. These are kind of little bit distraction for our Shalom Bayit. And Shalom Bayit has nothing to, there's not glue over there to attach. Every time we have bunch of complaint. Every time we have bunch of negative energy. Every time. So how you want your Shalom Bayit to stay together? There is no positive or hope in your Shalom Bayit. You see everything in the negative eye or judgmental. So let's conclude the first session like this. Shalom Bayit is important for our own sake for our own health, for our own sanity and kedusha. Shalom Bayit brings blessing. Our Shalom Bayit affects our children. Shalom Bayit. Our Shalom Bayit is important for our age, old age. When we get older, so Shalom Bayit is so important. How we make our Shalom Bayit stronger with the communication, but emotional communication. How we express each other. How express our emotion to each other. And we said, once there is more communication, is stronger Shalom Bayit. And the Shalom Bayit, which is strong, with a little pin, even with a little needle, maybe with a hammer or with a stone, but not with the little issues, is going to get room. Second, we have to start alphabet of Shalom Bayit in order to graduate to read books of Shalom Bayit. We need to start Shalom Bayit at the first days or years of our marriage, that when we get older, we could really have a full Shalom Bayit. And third, let's keep our Shalom Bayit in the positive mood, not in the negative mood. Anything that you think makes you or your spouse a little bit worried, a little bit sad, a little bit upset, avoid it. You know, according to halacha, when there is a mikveh night, you need to have a little music, little kind of romantic. Why we shouldn't have it every night? Why shouldn't have it every day? Why we should be full of complaint when we see each other, to be problem solver of each other? No, we could be a good besorot tovot for each other, to always have a good news for each other. Those who have a really good news for each other every time that they see each other, husband and wife, they're looking forward to each other. They're looking to pick up the phone and say, yes, honey, what else? But if every time I pick up the phone, when you're going to be home? I'm tired. Or again, you put this here, full of complaint. You know what? Thank God the voicemail is helpful.
It's food.
And it's full. So again, thank you for coming tonight. If you have any question, you could say it. Otherwise, our next session is going to be next week with Zat Hashem.
Thank you so much.